Hello, welcome to day 2 of week 6 of split 2 of the 2020 OPL. I'm your host, Nick Boy Richardson, and I am here thanks to our partners Macca's, Epos, and Neosurf. Thank you very much to those wonderful partners who are also making sure that you get some wonderful stuff throughout the show. Speaking of wonderful things, I am joined by my 3 most wonderful friends for a Friday and Saturday night. It's Spawn, Skimmy, and Rusty. Gentlemen, how are we going? Let's start with Skimmy, who's all smiles.
I'm always good, mate. We were just talking about the sort of the young and the broken, really, of Spawn, right? You know how he's looking so fresh, so clean, so damn good. I was making a bit of a joke that he's looking like a bit of a rugged animal at this stage of the game. A bit of a John Deere tractor, ploughing fields, keeping the Aussie economy going. Off he goes, and what an absolute patriot. I'm sure he's got words to add to that one. But I think at the start of the show, Nick, I always add some kind of crazy nickname. I break the entire broadcast. We just run with that for the rest of the season.
Do you ever not play-by-play?
No.
Good. Spawn?
Hey, I'm obviously doing a little bit better than you, mate. Lawnmower get out of hand this morning. Is it just took off and ran over you and took half of your shirt with you, or is that a deliberate style choice?
This is. You will not believe how much money you have to pay to have your jacket ruined, but I did it, and it was worth it.
I think it actually looks good.
I refuse to be shamed. And the irony is that the lawnmower missed the mustache and the hair, the things that actually need to be hit. I'm doing well, though. I am doing very well. Thank you very much for asking. Rusty?
Hey, what's going on?
I was going to say something about, like, any tech problems, but you've just been cruising this weekend. It's been all good for you.
Whoa. I mean, besides the part where we both logged on today and just couldn't log in.
I mean, except for that part. Sure, but that's...
There's been no disconnects for many weeks, Nick, and I'm worried that now you've brought this up.
Oh, it's jinxed.
It's over for me.
Yeah,
we had a good run, though. We
did have a good run. By the way, I want to start off with, you know how you're always having the issues with the food delivery during the broadcast? So we get to the end of the show last night. I'm like, okay, I'm starving. I can't be bothered eating. I order some food. Gets delivered. The kids are asleep, so I'm like, just leave it outside my house and I will come get it. Don't knock on the door or anything. And then the delivery person is like, sure, no worries. And then 15 seconds later, ding, arrived, and I walk outside and there's just no food, and I'm just barefoot wandering up and down the street, like calling out for this person's name. And the stupid thing, I understand it's to protect delivery drivers, because God knows I would have abused him, but it's like, you can't contact the delivery driver once they say the order is done. So you can text and call. You could probably like find their Facebook page. You could do everything while they have your food. As soon as they say they've handed off the food, it's like they never existed. And so I just went hungry last night. I was just like, and then out of protest, I was like, well, I'm not going to make myself dinner, so I'm just going to eat a chocolate mousse and go to bed.
Good on you, mate.
Do you know what I would do? And I hope this is what that delivery driver did as well. Every single time someone did that, like, just leave it at my door, I would just say, yep, no worries, and then I'll just stop my car and eat the food.
That's what I thought as well. Because in the same way...
How are you ever going to know? And then I'll just blame it on the damn kids roaming the street.
Absolutely, because there would be a certain percentage of, like, missing food built into the system. And so
I've noticed now, though, Nick, they actually take photos when they deliver, just to actually confirm. I imagine a ton of that's happened, yeah?
I saw on the map, he's outside my house. He puts the food down, he takes a picture, he picks the food up, he goes inside, and then he drives off. I mean, they're into a great scam there. If it wasn't for the fact that they themselves were getting completely scammed with the amount of money that they get paid, then that would be a great gig. We got a good gig for you, though, before we get to the first games. Something that that's also very good is that, like I said before, Epos, one of our wonderful partners bringing the OPL to you, have just launched a new campaign, and they want you to get excited about as well. So you can win yourself an Epos GSP 600 gaming headset just by telling us your most out-of-the-world gaming experience. So that's something awesome that you did, some definitive gaming moment, the best memory you have playing video games. Head to @OPL Twitter. There is a tweet there. Just reply to that with your answer. We're going to pick the winners live on the OPL in a couple of weeks, and the 2 winners will win themselves that schmexy headset. schmexy headset for a schmexy game, let's take a look at the games that we have coming up this evening. We've got 4 of them, as usual. Nothing's changed about that. The order has changed from yesterday, though. Direwolves versus Gravitas, game number 1. Chiefs taking on Mammoth for game 2. It's Legacy versus PGG for game 3. And then Order and Avant round out the evening. Rusty, what are we most excited for?
Probably game 4. I feel like both AV and Order with some decent form yesterday to get their victories.
Every time, chat. Just every time. Rusty just...
I can't
where's
be
the Order
excited for
game?
Order?
That one.
How dare I?
He's such a biased caster, this Rusty.
I didn't pick Babu this week, so I think that's a step. But maybe steps. No, I do think game 4, though.
Do you know who started the step? Mammoth. That's who I'm excited for.
Oh, it's the classic. It's happening again. The
It
step
is.
going to go into a run. I mean, it's basically turned into a long jump at this stage after beating Legacy. It's kind of crazy, right?
I mean,
and that has
2
to be
games away from
surely
a win
game 3.
streak.
Game 3 for me, Legacy up against Pennant. That has to be the game to scrutinize based on what sort of happened over the last couple of games. Can Pentanet get themselves into the mess of a tied second place? And will Legacy not be as sure on their throne?
And have we got confirmation of rosters? Like, can someone in production tell me right now in the next 3 seconds if I can tell the rosters of Legacy? I haven't heard anything. Halo's playing today, and that's going to be insane.
True. A little something about Halo for those that don't know, Spawn.
Jimmy's been benched, and then James, who's Halo, has been brought in. Tally gone, James in. Halo, 21-year-old, played for Legacy Genesis a couple of years ago. Big Spawn in-house player as well, and was a monster in those. And from everything I have seen, is a very good up-and-coming player. Good on the control mages, plays a mean Vega, if you let that one go through. Also, really good syndrome player. He's Magic Heron, I think, in solo queue, for those that are in high elo and have seen him running around. I think he is very, very good.
Well, that is an exciting thing to look out for. And I mean, absolutely, the time to prove your value to this roster after what we've seen from Legacy over the last couple of weeks, this is the time to come in and say, you know what, I am the plug that's going to stop this sinking ship. That's right, I called it. Legacy on the decline. What we want from you before we get into the game is today is Saturday, so of course that means we're going to be jumping into the Nick Bag among some other things. So I am putting the link in the chat right now. Nick Bag questions, please. Take a look at that and submit your nip bags, please. Today we do have a theme. Today's theme is you can ask literally anything, but the feature topic is I've made a huge mistake. You did it. You realize it was wrong. You want to undo it, and ideally with no one knowing about it. So let us help. Send in your questions about mistakes you've made in your life, and let us fix your dumpster fire life. Rusty, you're a man who's made some pretty serious mistakes throughout your both professional and personal life. What would be the worst one?
Start to a question I've ever received? Please continue.
It might be insulting, but technically it is grammatically very correct. What's the worst mistake you've made in your life that you could say on broadcast?
Ooh, I turned down a scholarship to be an aeronautical engineer in the Air Force because I wanted to play video games. Big mistake.
Really?
Yeah, that's dumb. Chat, don't be like Rusty.
Wow.
I didn't realize you're that smart.
I was 17 and it was
Well,
a
he's
9-year
obviously not that
commitment,
smart because he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Look, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be here with us tonight. So, we're very thankful for it. But you got to be really second guessing that
Real
decision.
sad boys about that one.
That is not a good time. Skimmy, what about you?
I'm actually trying to think of something, education related probably be, because I was studying computer science. I was 2 years into a computer science degree. I was playing a ton of video games because I was far more into that. Because I was seeking purpose in life, as you tend to do when you're, you're fresh out of high school and you're being told, become an adult, get a job, live 50 years and get your pension. And you're thinking, this is kind of depressing. This is what life is. There I was, computer science degree, going on these Microsoft scholarship courses. And I was like, you know what? I give up. I want to be a caster. I talk so fast. Screw this job. Screw tech support. I want to talk faster. I want to meet people like yourself.
He
Nick.
wants to not throw to champion select.
I want to become a lawnmower.
For minutes.
It's like he has an allotted amount of time that he has to vent.
I have to.
I mean, look.
I think I was spawned too much. I'm starting to go vent mode out.
It's pretty telling that two of the biggest mistakes of two of our casters' life have been entering esports. And with that, let's jump into the first esports game for the evening. Oh my god. It's Direwolves versus Gravitas. It's coming up after this short break and the Macca's Champ Select.
Prayless from Gravitas. You got some fighting words for him.
I think he's like try to carrying every time, but I think it's like doesn't have potential to carrying. Already set to him.
It's just sad to be him.
Yeah, he doesn't try to carrying, but he can't carry because he's new finger.
I don't really know who nobody is, but I hope they use Quiku because I like that guy.
Beats or K-pop from Gravitas. How do you think the matchup's gonna go?
I think they're two lesser known players. K-pop, he's a good Zyra player, I guess, and Beats, he's off-roll, so he's still learning the ropes. They're just not very good.
How do you think Puma's gonna go?
Who's Puma?
Well, Suman's been trolling with his champs a bit. I don't know why he stopped playing carry champs and started playing Karma and stuff. So I think if he changes his champs, it might be a good matchup, but otherwise it'll be pretty boring.
Yes, that's right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to day 2 of week 6 of the OPL as we crack on in with the very first game of the night. It's Direwolves taking on Gravitas. We're already halfway through the draft here. Spawn, anything immediately stand out to you apart from a few of these pocket bans, in particular the Yasuo?
Yeah, I mean, Yasuo getting taken off the board makes a lot of sense. We saw Suman play Karma yesterday, and it just did not go well, Skimmy. Immediately, Ashe priority, insanely high here for Direwolves. First picking Ashe, even with Callista banned. Actually, it's been 380 carry banned, so that makes a little bit more sense, Skimmy. No Ezreal picked up for them. It's just going to be the Ashe. I did have a question for you, though.
Go for it.
With Legacy losing to Mammoth and Order in 2 of their last 3 games, with the Chiefs losing to Order yesterday, is Direwolves now the team to beat? They have won 4 of their last 5 games, Skimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the hottest team in the OPL right now?
I would say as it stands, it's looking pretty much like that case. I think diversity is what we're starting to work towards, right? The fact that Vital, back-to-back, now is playing the Ashe again, looking to try and evolve that playstyle once more. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that stood out for us had to be his form going into those playoffs, right? Looked like maybe the pressure was getting to him based on how much Direwolves were relying on him to actually pop off. So I think that's what we're really boiling it down to, right? Looking to continue that form, diversify that champion pool, make sure you got the best chance going into those best of 3s and best of 5s.
Because I think that Henternet.gg played the style you have to play against Direwolves yesterday. Mm-hmm. They went mid lane and they tried to attack Shock. Mm-hmm. Shock was playing the Syndra. The problem is that Shock and Mir are just so good at playing that 2v2 together that if you fumble the execution, which is what happens, right, the game just explodes from there. So it's kind of that double-edged sword. You have to go mid lane because you do need to shut him down right now. But if you don't get that right, then you never get to step 2 of the game plan, which is to also be able to shut down Vital. Vital, goes huge, 360 CS in a 36-minute game, 2-1-9. Shock has 16 kill assists. Kill participation across the game as well. And it just really was all one-way traffic from the Direwolves. And just watching them, Skimmy, you just do the eyeball test. They look like the best team in the OPL, probably. They're just playing really good standard League of Legends.
They certainly are. I mean, Mira, once again, just going to run it back again on the Lee Sin. We saw him obviously start that game off with such conviction. Just rocks up to the lane, gets 1 kill, then gets a second underneath the turret. Straight disrespect. and obviously put Shock in that position where he finished in double digits at 10 kills, only a single death. Now, we talk about the bottom lane shenanigans, how, you know, what is Vital going to be like here on the Ashe? Well, obviously going into this matchup, the bot matchup isn't going to be as difficult. That's no disrespect, but based on how current form is looking so far and how much Gravitas are really relying on Puma, that's how we're seeing these sort of like double support compositions come online. I start to wonder, you're going to go once again with this time Kench. Decoy looked very comfortable on yesterday. So it's going to give so much protection to allow Vital to continue to chuck off arrows, and combine that with those trouble bubbles, they've just got so much catch potential.
Yeah, they certainly do. I just love everything about the Direwolves composition, apart from the Mordekai's are really skimmy. I think that probably could have been a different bruiser. Obviously, with Camille, Wukong, and Aatrox gone, it is hard. I don't know whether Chippies does play something like the Renekton, but I just think that Mordekai's are not really all that effective at the moment. We've seen it played a couple of times, and it hasn't really done all that much in the OPL. See whether Chippies can prove us wrong. Sure. On the flip side, Gravitas' comp is really hard to execute, in my opinion. They only have beats to be able to engage. Everyone else is going to be there for a little bit of utility and damage mix-up. Nobody going to have a good laning phase, otherwise they will run out of damage, and their composition isn't the best in the front to back.
Gravitas' comp looks a little bit Legacy-esque in terms of you've got this hard initiation bot lane style that will have a very nimble AD carry in Puma. You've got a hard carry jungle that's looking to try and just, get in their faces, and then the global assault that the GP can really assist with. And it's quite interesting to me to continue to see that Gravitas change up their roster, they change up who's playing on any given day, but continue to sort of change their identity of let's go for a double support comp, let's go the Akali, let's go the hype train here for Suman in the mid lane, or let's play these compositions here where we're sort of like banking on good macro execution. It's interesting to see how each day it's let's try this, let's see what happens, and let's try it up against a really strong contender.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense, because as I kind of alluded to yesterday, when nothing's going right, you do tend to change kind of how you're trying to play every single time. So it does make sense to me that this Gravitas lineup is changing a lot and looking for those answers, Skimmy. But I also just think that a lot of the time, answers aren't found in the draft. Answers are found elsewhere. And we'll see whether they're able to get some good play happening, because that's really what they need.
Certainly are, and that's what we're going to find out here for the very first game of the day. It's the Direwolves on the blue side with Gravitas on the red. They'll be searching for signs of improvement, signs of life, signs of change more than anything. And they're going to be up against a good contender in the Direwolves, as you mentioned before. We've now got 3 teams tied in second place at 7-4. Hot on the heels that Legacy still locked in at first at 9-2. Game win here will keep their ability to build distances between the rest of the teams in the league and continue to make the narrative, more than anything, running into playoffs that much more exciting. Yeah,
and we'll see whether the soup just moves up a little bit this week, Skimmy. Because we've been talking about it a lot, that 3rd to 6th spot, the teams that are all tied there. But it looks like right now, Direwolves Chiefs order all 7-4. So there is a potential for a 3-way tie at 2nd place after the weekend's games, which would be very interesting. Almost pulling back to reminiscent of Split 1, where it looked like the top 4 were all within touching distance. Obviously, Legacy a little bit better. And then Avant Gaming rounding out the 5th place is starting to evolve back into that area. Obviously, Pentanet trying to still join that fray.
It'll be a tough matchup for them. Obviously, the weekend started with 3 teams tied at 3rd position, and as the dust settled last night, shifted up to 2nd. We'll get to see exactly what the game plan is here for Gravitas. Obviously, Suman going to be quite comfortable on the Orianna in the sense that it is the most played mid laner. Going to be looking to try and diversify himself into what is the go-to at the moment. But, you continue to give Shock these power play mid laners like the Syndra, like the Zoe. Give him a few bit of resources and he's going to punish you.
Yeah, and what's his first bubble going to be, Skimmy? That's the question. Is he going to get the redemption? You can see it there on the caster crate. We'll see whether he is able to pick up something that will just be straight up OP. You see right now that they have push in bottom lane, they have push in mid lane whenever they want it. Direwolves. I think people are going to start getting a little bit confused about this Ashe pick. People really are undervaluing Ashe. I can see Skimmy in Twitch chat. Ashe is like the hardest shoving bottom lane in the current patch, and has so much kill threat at level 6. I actually think she's one of the best bottom laners in the game right now. In the LPL, it's just getting outright first picked in a lot of games.
But how interesting is it from a noteworthy standpoint of noticing that there are some teams that aren't comfortable on the Ashe? They will just blindly lock in the Ezreal and say, okay, your response is now to go into the Aphelios, and we know that the Ezreal should, in theory, beat that matchup. Hold that thought for 2 seconds, because that is going to be Miru going into the enemy jungle, looking to steal away the blue buff. Kratos gets into the action. Going to be a 3 for 2. As now Vital will turn up to the situation to try and make it a fight worthy of them looking to get a dub. There's going to be a first blood that goes the way of Gravitas, but they're going to turn things around. Both AD carries getting themselves on the score sheet there with a kill at piece as the heal goes out, and that'll be enough movement speed to disengage back to lane.
Yeah, really well played there from both teams, to be honest, because you can see Beats had to be decisive going over that wall, and meant that he was there first. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they actually were missing creeps, so that wave that Puma is collecting now is pushing out, so he would have lost 3 or 4 creeps there to just the minions killing them. So he's going to be down a little bit of experience. Overall, first blood picked up for the Gravitas lineup, but a kill return there for the 80 carry of Direwolves. Kind of a null and void map. You can see that it's going to be double Scuttle Crab picked up for Prayless, and he still has 2 camps available in his own jungle. So I would say that's a big win for the jungle position of Gravitas, and everywhere else kind of even right now, Skimmy.
I think that has to be a huge talking point, right? Because given the form that Miru's in, I mean, one of these stats that actually sprung to mind for me, in the last 5 games, Direwolves have always got the first Herald. In the last 10, they've got them 90% of the time. Their ability to sort of dictate lane states, early game control, and Miru's presence to be at the right place at the right time is critical. It's huge. It's out of this world right now, so Prayless can find that small advantage. We've talked at great lengths as to how he's this big sort of catalyst for success for the team. That could continue to make sure they have a strong early start.
Certainly could. See what we're going to do with the first redemption of the game that Shock's picked up. Zoe, one of those really annoying champions with the ability to impact other lanes if she gets the redemption. You know, maybe throw it out bottom lane, try and get some heal or some poke down, throw it on her own creep wave.
Hook lands, combo comes out, but it will get denied there by the Consume. So Puma getting a little bit low now on that mana, not going to be as nimble and as annoying until he goes for that first back to get that tear with the Shin.
Has a couple of bickies, however, in his back pocket, so he's going to be completely fine. If you are Ashe, you probably are going to look for a base before he can get Tear and Sheen Skimmy. Depends what Vital wants to go for, if it's going to be a Blade of the Ruined King or whether it's going to be a BF sword pickup. And across the board right now, you can just see that this shove is allowing them to get themselves the first dragon, and that's what you're kind of talking about, the fact that Mir is this active early game jungler, but I think a lot of it does start through the dominance that his laners show.
For sure. I think if we return back to that point about why Ashe is really rising to the forefront, I mean, we saw it, especially when it was combined with the likes of Akama, level 1 kills are taking place just because it's so annoying, you're locked in place, and the poke ends up becoming a full-on engage.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see right now that Direwolves are just winning every single part of the map. Every single lane, you know, even the jungle matchup is now in the favor of Miru. And they're just continuing to chip away at this gold lead. It's nothing fancy. They lost first blood, so they were 200 gold down in a hole. And the fact that they're now 500 gold up just shows how good this lineup is at this stage of the game.
Certainly are. As the trade goes out, Lethal Temper will proc, but now it's Prayless on the hunt. Miru is in the area, down bottom side, and that's going to be the Cannon Barrage to try and make this fight worthwhile. There's going to be a teleport coming in here from the side of the Direwolves to try and turn things around, make it a numbers advantage that favours him. Vital is playing around in the Conclave and buying a lot of time, but that's 2 kills so far that favour Gravitas. Out comes the Death Realm, and as he takes Puma down, he's going to fall on down, but as he goes, expired 3 members will surround him, buys a bit of time with the shield mitigation, buying more time to Shock to rock on down through that river and try and delete somebody with that paddle star. There goes Miru flying, and there goes Shock deleting. That's 2 kills turned around on its head. As GP fell on down as well. All things said and done, Direwolves come out ahead.
Certainly do. They're able to pick up the extra kills, Skimmy. They just had inside track coming in from mid lane, which in the end proved crucial. Summoner spells check in. It was just the flashes used from the 80 carries and the top laners. But overall, very good skirmish here. Prayless looking for that crab.
They're going to be looking for more though. Prayless going to try and juke and jive in that smoke screen, but not going to be doing too much in that situation. Collapsed 1v2. Sacrificed the Scuttle as well, and 7 minutes in, Direwolves find themselves 2,000 gold up.
Yeah, so let's take another look at this play. Really great setup here coming out of Beats actually to be aggressive. You can see Vital takes the hook so Decoy can eat him straight away. And then it looked like Chippies was going to use his ultimate on Beats, but I think a very smart decision actually locks down the Ezreal while the E cooldown isn't available. That is a super long cooldown at the start of the game, Skimmy. You can see he comes out with all of the Ezreal stats. And then Shock just arriving a little bit earlier than Human. They would have loved a Shockwave on the back end of this fight, but with only 2 members up and available, not really going to be looking for one there, Skimmy. So good skirmish there for the Direwolves. They do come out with the man advantage, and then they're able to pick up the further kill in the river. Once again, that's about a 2,000 gold lead, and we're only 8 minutes into this game.
And I think that's a point to discuss at greater lengths, right, as to how important that first teleport can be, how important that first ultimate can be, especially when we're talking about globals. But the ability for the mid laners to rotate there through first, for Chippy's to get his teleport into the lane first as well, and obviously as you saw what it meant with the Ezreal being locked in place. So Direwolves hot on the money right now, and as you say, 2,000 gold is where they're at right now. 8 minutes in, the lane states will be flipped on its head, and if stats are anything to go by based on the first dragon, they should still have control to go for the first herald as well.
Ooh, and we actually do see that Puma got his ideal shot. But Vital, with a good adaptation here, actually goes with boots too. And I love that against the composition of Gravitas. Just being able to kite out this Graves, as well as the fact that he can catch up potentially to the Ezreal after the Arcane Shift if he does land a cheeky ultimate. I think that's really smart from Vital. Also going to be able to keep himself topped up in what is an all-in lane. You can see Mir, I think you said 90% first Rift Herald usage. Well, he's going to get another one here, Skimmy, and increase that percentage just a little bit.
And it's a bit of a monster right now. Lane states favour him. And World Level 6 as well, going to have a very strong 1v1 contest. That's going to be the first Herald in their favour. As Beats is taking a whole host of damage. Just a fantastic stopwatch that will deny the all-in, but the damage is still going to connect. He's going to be forced to flash away and receive the heal from Puma. The fight will continue. Now he's going to look to re-engage. Use the passive decoy, comes out with the consume. The ignite turnaround there. Gravitas looking to try and force that counter-engage. No jungler in the area, and both will be crippled.
Yeah, and that eat was just a little bit too late there, Skimmy. I wonder if it was on cooldown. They actually spot out where Shock is.
This is disrespectful. That's the shockwave, that's the damage, delete, execution style. Both junglers getting in on the action right now. Mid and top is where the fight is taking place. Both will show some threat, and both will connect with the kills.
Yeah, that was a really nice kick coming out of Mir. Actually hit both of them, Skimmy. You can see Praelus is coming into top lane. He is probably strong enough to win this if they don't respect him.
Cannon Barrage to start things off. Now standing in a smoke screen. Decoy going to go consume once again. Going to use the stopwatch. Fight on a lot of trouble. Going to try and juggle back. Use those frozen arrows for a great effect. Oh my gosh, that is dirty and that is disgusting. Both survive the Triumph procs, and Mira lives as well.
Just needed to make up his mind before he wanted to attack there, Skimmy. Got everyone to one hit and then just decided that it was time for him to leave this world. His people needed him. And so, like the hero he is, just departs into the nether. A little bit disappointing there for Praelus. I'm sure if he had his time again, he would have liked another crack at that one. However, you can see the gold lead is still remaining where it is. Good shutdown picked up from Shock. Helped stabilize this early game. Next dragon is going to be Infernal. We'll see whether Dire will start it instantly on spawn. They do have everyone on the correct side of Summoner's Rift for it.
Despite the failed gank attempt topside, Gravitas still are brimming with confidence. Definitely no stranger to the danger of looking to find these engagements and making them stick. Cannon Barrage, for the most part, have been crucial in starting these. The second dragon will spawn, and with the Herald in his possession as well, Direwolves could really explode this gold in their favour.
And I think they're going to look to do it through bottom lane. You can see that they kept Chippies around. They've now got shove bottom, they've got shove mid. This should just be a turret dive onto the gangplank. Lee Sin kick is available. Ash Arrow is also available. So you see Gangplank has to respect Skimmy, and that should just be the whole turret going down. This gold lead is going to start to balloon very rapidly.
It certainly is. You can see it up now by 3,000. That's only going to get higher and higher at this stage of the game. And as the response from Gravitas seems to be at this stage. Hold strong. Hold those lanes. Do what we can. 1v1s are taking on place. That's going to be the Shockwave once again going out onto Shock, funnily enough, as the Treble Bubble will not land in retaliation. And, well, that is a lost chapter. Blasting Wand, Oriana already packing a meaty punch.
Certainly is. Really well played from Human there. Just waits for the portal jump forward. Able to take 90% of the health. Now Chippies versus Puma 1v1.
1v1, this time in the top lane. And Beats can only do the spectating job of watching his ADC fall on down. Quite honestly, the big raid boss himself may look to try and go for a 1v2. Predator's going to rock up to the situation, make it a 1v4. He can't take them all on. The mitigation will do a bit of time to try and negate all the action. But Gravitas will wipe the floor and look to try and trade what was lost bot side, now here on the top.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit inexcusable from Chippies, however. He goes in 1v2. He just needs to be protecting this turret. Does manage to get himself a kill, but will be cleaned up on the back end of it. And you can see now that they lose 2 turret plates. That is going to be Ash Harrow into Tamken ulti. That's such a funny combo.
Well, that's a combination I don't think we'll be seeing too often, but Blade of the Rune King's going to be online, and a lockdown, if it wasn't already oppressive enough as it was with an Ashe, that's going to guarantee the kill. Nautilus is gone now, 0-4. It's their main source of engagement, apart really from the from the gangplank, and yeah, that is 1 Paddle Star and half of Puma's health bar being basically shredded off.
But both of these mid laners, Skimmy, are just throwing hand grenades at each other. Both of them are doing so much damage. Puma, you're dead. No, he's alive. Okay, he didn't have flash. I was going to say you could play that a little bit better, but then I noticed the summoner spell's still gone. If you just flash kick in there, it's probably guaranteed kill, but didn't have it up and available, Skimmy.
So we wondered what build we're going to get out from the Ashe, if he was going to go for the BF sword. Yesterday he actually went for this with the Balk into Death Stance, then into Runans. If the game went any longer, it was a 36-minute game yesterday up against Pentanet. If it went any longer, he was already sitting on a BF sword, so I could have opted into the Infinity Edge after.
Yeah, generally what you're going to see is you're going to see 2 different kinds of builds. You're going to see Essence Reaver Trinity Force Ashe, which is just a full poke Ashe. Sometimes you run Comet with it as well, Skimmy. And that's to just get maximum arrows usage out, right? That's 40% cooldown reduction on just 2 items. Other builds you're going to see Blade of the Rune King into Hurricane, into maybe defensive item or maybe Infinity Edge, depending on game state. You said that he went with the Death Stance yesterday, really great defensive item there. So I think both of them super viable at the moment. We are seeing a little bit more of the attack speed on hit Ashe, but I think that's just the tendencies for 80 carries in this region to want to be the carries as opposed to top laners. But if it is played with something like a Jace, there is no reason you still can't play utility Ashe. It is much better in lane, for example.
It certainly is. The annoying nature, if you will, of just continually poking him from afar and not really having any form of retaliation at this stage of the game. There's going to be a bit of a biff happening in the bottom lane right now, as Chippies does some meaty damage towards that gangplank, and well, Mordekaiser or not, definitely putting in a stellar performance so far.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the map state right now is just ideal for the Direwolves. You know, even ignoring the 5,000 gold lead they have, Skimmy, you can see both side lane turrets broken, all their turrets still up and available, and you can see that mid lane turret, the last remaining one, is quite low. So all you have to do here, and I talk about it all the time, is get control of one side of the jungle, threaten the Orianna from 2 different areas, and she probably can't just hold this solo. Going to look for a shockwave.
Shockwave, going to bring in 2 right now. Out comes Decoy, out goes Vital, flashing away, using the Blade of the Rune King, and popping the flash as well. Everything to try and disengage in this one. Preylet's going to find the kill. Can Vital find retaliation and retribution for his fallen ally? Out goes the arrow, and out it goes. Nothing more to say on that one. Goes flying. And as Gravitas look to try and continue this one with numbers strong in the mid lane.
And Decoy's having a bit of a shocker, as Beats has been spotted. Decoy, that's about 2 or 3 times that he's eaten very late here, Skimmy. Mir? Oh, fancy feet.
Okay, very clean and very fancy. Beats having no flash now means that Miro wants him in his sight. Chippy's going to go for the Death Realm, and at the edges of their realm, Beats has nowhere to run or hide and will fall on down. So a 1-for-1, all things said and done. 15 seconds on the 3rd Dragon of the game, which will set up Direwolves in such a strong lead if they weren't already, because this turret in mid lane will fall on down, and that'll mean they're up at this stage by 6,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean, they're just in complete control of the game. Sure, the pick on the support isn't ideal League of Legends, but given that they're going to have themselves a 23-minute air soul, and the fact that they're also just taking a solo Rift Herald on the other side of Summoner's Rift, Skimmy, I would say it's safe to say that the Direwolves are feeling like they are in firm control.
Certainly are. The map belongs to them, and it never really has looked like it's ever in doubt at this stage. Yes, Suman is doing some absurd damage, and if he can look to try and farm and continue this tempo and that CS, then that Shockwave could be clinical in turning fights around if we get to a point of a Soul Point contest or a Baron. Just looking to try and slow down the game a bit, because it's definitely at 17 minutes in, starting to get out of control.
Yeah, and this is why, you know, Gravitas fans want Human to be playing carries and get him off the karma, because you can see how much more successful this is. Decoy again.
Decoy again, 1v3 in a situation of bother. And he's going to get locked on down. The smoke's going to do a fair bit of damage to him to ensure that he has nowhere to run or hide, and that grey mitigation will only last so long. He will fall on down. 0-4 now.
He's having a shocker, Skimmy. You could
Not
sub
the
in right
strongest.
now, and I still think that the direwolves would be okay, but...
I could probably
Decoy.
come in there for a bit of energy. That's probably about it.
Bit of energy, you reckon? I've
Yeah,
seen- come on,
Decoy's...
mate.
Look,
You've
Decoy's
carried a couple
far
games.
better than me.
045 would suggest otherwise at the moment, Skibby.
Let me play Yumi, and then I can say, look, guys, hands
Yeah.
off the keyboard. I'm screaming, I'm shouting, I'm getting us pumped.
The cheer squad, that's what we need.
The cheer squad, that's it, mate. That's what I need at this stage. The Direwolves, the Kiwi boys, that's what I got going for them so far. As the collapse looks to take place once again, but Vital appearing to have those spidey senses to say, I don't want to stick around here for too much longer. Similar story here, Spawn, for Miru. He carried yesterday, he's got a good scoreline once again, so he's going to go for that Black Cleaver with the Warrior Chant and can look just to try and take down a top laner.
That's when you know you're in trouble, Skimmy. When the jungler runs out of your jungle and solo kills your top laner, that's when you know the game is doomed, I think is the word that the kids use nowadays. Oh,
That's gross. The battle of the mid laners. The battle of the burst. Begs the question now, 90 minutes in. What's the game plan here for Gravitas? Are they, returning to my point from before, are they looking to contest and sort of bank on the fact that a Baron could be started or that the soul point will be up in just under 2.5 minutes?
you are hoping that a higher power exists that wants you to win this game, Skimmy. That's what you're doing.
You're banking on optimism and karma.
You are praying for a god. Whatever god out there wants Gravitas to win this game, they are hoping it exists. Because I do not think, short of a miracle, that this one is close to contestable. In all honesty, they probably need a 5-man Shockwave with a 5-man Graves ultimate, a 5-man Ezreal ultimate, and a 5-man Beats ultimate at the same time. If we can just get all of their ultis to hit everyone, they might win a fight.
So what you're telling me is you need Direwolves to hold hands, make camp, dance
Correct.
around the Dragon Pit.
Do you know how sometimes when you play TFT with a friend and you think, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I have 6 cybers that, you know.
Yeah.
And then you go to your friend, oh look, I'm so strong, what are you playing? And they're like, cybers. And you're just like, get off that immediately. Stop holding hands with me, you're coming last.
It sounds like our TFT games, no?
Correct. That's what they need. They just need Direwolves to, for some reason, just, you know, maybe for them to decide that AP Lee Sin would be good in this this situation. I don't know what they need, Skivvy. They need something.
Huge safeguards, big dashes, but no damage.
They need to win this next dragon fight, if we're being serious.
Yeah.
Can't give it a Windbreaker over to Lee Sin Ashe at this stage of the game.
Certainly can't. You know, movement speed aside, the amount of ultimate reduction.
Teleport coming in. Skimmy, this is going to be a fight.
Certainly is. It's going to be Direwolves looking to lead the line right now. Summon the key target with that shockwave forced to flash away. Going to receive an arrow across the water. Pedal Star spells disaster. Gone before he had a chance to influence this team fight. The Death Rom goes out there onto Beats. He's going to be forced to flash away, but when it comes out, he's going to say Cura to the boys of Kiwiland, and that's going to be the Direwolves looking to get a second kill. Support and mid laner gone. The engage continues. That's a flash. That's a kick. Miru continues to impress. He gets deleted in the end, however. Prentice takes him down in the end. It's a scrappy fight. It is a Direwolves diving turrets and taking damage, and quite honestly, incredibly low. There's no ultimates left as nobody looks to try and do something, but Vital is straight disrespecting and takes them all to the cleaners.
Yeah, really nicely played there. You could see that that was going to be the closest skirmish that Gravitas could put together, but the Direwolves just too far ahead, Skimmy. They're going to go back. They're going to complete some items as well. Deathcap going to be grabbed there for the Zoe. It is also going to be 3 items completed on this Ashe. A full item ahead is vital. And honestly, the gold lead just continues to grow.
Certainly does. The gold lead at 22 minutes in now, balloons to just shy of 8k. And you can understand really why Vital is allowed to play as aggressive as he did just before. All the stats, all the lifesteal, all the control in the world as they now look to go uncontested onto this dragon. And that has been deleted in little to no time. There's the Cloud Soul point. It's all the movement speed they'll need to continue to find these engagements and be a major annoyance on the map here.
take another look at this fight, Skimmy. This was ambitious from Chippies. He was a long way ahead of his team as this one was started up. And you can see he takes 95% of his health before he uses his ultimate. Probably not the way you want to start the fight. But is going to get some damage done to Beats. Beats flashes over the wall, just offers himself up to the Direwolves team, as you mentioned. This kick was very nice from Mir. However, he did take a lot of damage on the back end of it, standing next to the wall from Praelis. Then, really, it just turned into the Vital Show as he ran people down, machine gun style, with that Ash Q on. And you can see nobody just does absolutely no damage at the moment. And unfortunately for Praelis, he collects a Zoe bubble on the way in.
And it's only going to get worse from here, isn't it, Spawn? Now, that Zoe has a Rabadon's cap. And there's very little magic resistance at this stage of the game. Millie just Merc treads there to provide their mitigation, so he is going to be hitting like a truck right now as Gravitas look to try and find some form of control in the jungle. They will find their first turret of the game, so that's the positive, but off-screen...
Human's dead, that's a negative.
Yeah, that's a negative. Off-screen, the mid laner dies, and the fight looks to continue as we're having a bit of a deja vu moment. Same place, same location, same result as Direwolves come out ahead.
Yeah, so Direwolves now just going to set their eyes towards the Baron as Chippies gets launched into the red buff pit. So they know exactly where the members are. Let's see if they can do anything about it. Shock firing some warning shots off here, Skimmy. And the approach is going to be on. Chippies just playing goalie. They can't get in.
They can't at all. Then you have the Cannon Barrage to try and make this a living reality. It's going to be used far too late. Now it's a combat ultimate that they will not have. That's just Chippies flashing forward aggressively, acting like the raid boss that he is, and Puma's health bar, it lasted literally fragments. It did not survive much at all. Two members fall on down, and now Direwolves holding all the aces, all the control. Can look to end this game. That shockwave onto the Tom Kinch. He can just waddle himself out of that one.
Certainly can, Skimmy. A little bit of a question mark ping on Human there as the Redemption's going to be burnt as well. You can see Chippy's in bottom lane. Direwolves, even though they have Baron buff, playing this one a little bit slowly. Going to look to take double inhibitor before they contemplate finishing this game. But still 10,000 gold up 25 minutes in with the Baron buff. You feel like if they want to, they can end it right here.
Certainly can. They're going to look for it now. Will Gravitas go for that one final fight. Out goes the true shot barrage. They won't have a shockwave, but they will have the collateral damage, and that's not going to be enough at this stage. Second inhibitor will fall on down as Northern goes to a shallow grave as well, and they're going to look to try and just clean them underneath their own turrets. This is gross. Both the carries getting in on the action, farming them underneath their own fountain. Now they're going to finally go for the end. The quickest game in recent times here, 25 minutes in, and the Direwolves will continue their aggression to dethrone Legacy at the top of the table.
Impressive performance from the Direwolves, I think it's fair to say there, Chippies. Skimmy. They had a slightly longer game yesterday, although it wasn't ever really in doubt. But today, 25 minutes, as you mentioned, now does see them sit at the 8-4 mark, trying to create some further different distance between themselves and that falling out of playoff contention. You'd have to say that they are the team to beat right now. They look in red-hot form.
And it's crazy because, you know, you watch, I'm sure, as a player in that sort of top two situation, you're looking at each of these games going, oh, we hope you slip up. We hope this works in our favor. You're not only becoming a fan of your own team, but you're becoming a fan of others to say, can you get this upset? And we've seen stranger things happen. Obviously, yesterday was a bit of an upset in that court. And that's what we're going to see today as we jump to a quick break. And after that break, we're going to see if the Mammoth Boys can look for a second back-to-back upset as they take on the Chiefs.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! It's deadly! He's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.